6 billion people,
living in 193 countries,
rich and poor,
speaking 5,000 languages.
and sharing one big problem.
We're consuming ourselves into extinction.
If we let it, our insatiable hunger for energy will consume every drop of oil and every lump of coal on Earth. I'm Glenn Zorpet, and as a technology journalist, I've been reporting on this growing problem for over 20 years.
I'm Kimberly Austin, and as a parent and consumer, I've been worried about this problem for myself and my kids for nearly that long.
We've put together a team of engineers, scientists, and reporters who are going to help us get to the bottom of what's happening to our Earth.
And realistically, what you and I can do about it.
In this series, we'll cross the globe to dig out the truth about our predicament. We'll portray it accurately and without regard to special interests or political agendas.
Welcome to the grid.
No matter how we generate it, energy, the Earth's lifeblood, is controlled and transmitted through a vast and complex system, often called simply the grid. From the steppes of Asia to the moors of the Outer Hebrides, from Berlin's parliament to a street corner in Beverly Hills, from the bright lights of Manhattan to a tiny village in China, energy has given humankind the safest and most comfortable civilizations ever known.
The stories, the technologies, the people, the answers. You'll find it all here on the grid.
Oil,
Coal,
alternative fuels,
global warming,
wind power,
fossil fuels,
hydrogen,
carbon footprint,
solar energy,
biomass,
green buildings.
electric cars. No subject or potential solution escapes the grid's analytical eye.
The Western Isles have Europe and the UK's greatest source of renewable energy. That has attracted a lot of developers to the area.
The issue in the Western Isles is wind farms.
Renewable energy is controversial. It provokes great and passionate debate amongst people.
People need to be aware that they will see wind turbines, and eventually that will just be part of the local scenery and they will accept it.
Now that would be a wind farm which would extend for 25 miles from one end of the island to another and would involve 181 turbines, each the size of Big Ben in London.
If a vehicle can travel 250 miles without having to refill up on electricity, then I would say every cab driver will probably go for electric.
I think that nuclear power can be developed in a way which minimizes the safety risks and the proliferation and terrorism risks.
You can't say that something that is capable of blowing us off the face of the earth is safe. I mean, the risk may be low, but it's not safe.
The boiler here is about 130 meters high, and today we are one of the most modern portfolio with these 4 power plants in the world, if not the most.
Well, you know, there's a pretty well accepted statistic now that buildings contribute 48% of the greenhouse gases on the planet. Buildings meaning the energy used, the materials, the operations of the building, etc. So buildings are a very significant contributor to a worldwide environmental problem.
This is the first wind farm in New York State. It does give me some additional income. It's one more crop, and in an economy that is real tough for agriculture right now.
They're raping the countryside to make it better for New York City, not for us.
They're saving money by producing power cheaper and dirtier, but they put up high-profile 400-foot billboards to tell us how good they're doing. It's an insult.
What's unique about this location is the fact that it's windy, we use a lot of power, and we're connected to the grid. It makes it an ideal location for a wind farm. And here the grid is right on site. That saves the project approximately $1 million a mile. These have to be built to withstand extremely high winds under hurricane conditions or a northeaster. When the winds exceed 40 miles an hour, the blade is disengaged from the turbine. So it's running free, but then it turns and faces into the wind as opposed to flat against the wind. So there's less resistance.
Yeah, we are now in Denmark and visit actually the world's biggest wind farm. We are offshore to visit the 72 wind turbines. And now we are up in the top of the turbine. Actually, it's 68 meters from the water. The blades there are 44 meters long. It's quite big blades here.
What's your carbon footprint? How much energy does it actually take? What are you reducing? How many terawatts does the Earth now use for power? And are you actually reducing it? Because there's certain kinds of what we call renewable energy, which really don't actually reduce the amount of fossil fuel because it takes so much fossil fuel to actually make it. So what's the net effect? What we're going to do here in the process is we're going to cover the roof here at solar cells, 187,000 square foot of place. We're going to put geothermal in the ground, and we're going to put windmills across the front. Our strategy is to have this entire factory operate on renewable energy, the first factory in the world that makes renewable from renewable, so it has a zero carbon footprint.
Here's what you can do this week to help save planet Earth. Go down to your friendly neighborhood hardware store and buy yourself compact fluorescent bulbs. They use a small fraction of the electricity as conventional bulbs, such as this incandescent. These two bulbs provide the same amount of light. This one uses 14 watts, this one uses 60. 4 of these use less electricity than one of these.
%75% comes from the thermal power. That means mainly come from the coal-burnt thermal power plant. And as to the renewable energy, it's only a very small amount. It's less than 1%.
'We're driving up to the first totally energy self-sufficient solar hydrogen house in the country here in the middle of nowhere, New Jersey, as a matter of fact, Hopewell. Put together by one very dedicated engineer with a vision. And that vision was complete energy self-sufficiency. He's got solar panels on the house. They collect energy and charge a bank of batteries, and the overflow in the summer months goes to generating hydrogen by electrolysis, which runs a fuel cell in the winter when he can't get enough solar energy to run his house for all of his needs, for all of his energy needs.
You know, there's nothing but hard decisions left in order to save this planet in time. And, you know, we got ourselves this way through technology. We're going to get ourselves out of it through technology. I'm hoping people muster the type of courage up we need to make this severe change, to go out and be retrained, you know, and to grab the sun, you know, because that's the only thing that is going to create a zero carbon footprint.
This skiff has 2 people from the barge crew and 2 of our people going to finish up turbine number 2. You can see he's lifting the new tail cone, the replacement tail cone, into place. This is the control room where we monitor all the turbine activity and all the fish activity in the river here in the east channel of the East River. All up and down the edge of the channel here of 24 split beam ultrasonic transducers that are shooting out at different levels and at different locations on the river in order to see the fish activity downstream and upstream of each pair of rotors.
R. Robin Sachs covered the Alternative Fuels and Vehicle Conference in Anaheim, California.
I'm standing in front of the Anaheim Convention Center. Here we are in the mobile hydrogen tank by BMW. I'm looking forward to driving it, and it looks lovely inside. Here we go.
The United States uses 21
million barrels of oil and products every day.
General Motors' assumption is the ultimate end game is a hydrogen economy. We want to completely eliminate the automobile from the environmental equation.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness in my lifetime has been getting in a car alone and going wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted. Well, we can't do that anymore. We're going to have to either ration gas or push the price up so that people get out of their cars, or if they're in cars, that there's 3 or 4 people with them.
When I talk to people about West Texas, I say it's an all-you-can-eat buffet of low-cost, clean energy. As much as you want, it is there just to take.
One great thing about electric cars, you don't need a sledgehammer to put in a carpet tax. By that I mean they're going to and from work, to and from the market. And most people live fairly close to where they shop and work. So electric vehicles are very possible for a large segment of the population.
It's really going to be up to us to decide what we're going to do with this world, what we're going to do with what's been given to us.
You're watching The Grid, a Circuit Earth project. We'll be right back.
Of all the problems troubling Iraq, certainly the lack of electricity is one of the most important and yet least widely covered by the mainstream media. I was in Iraq in late September and early October of 2005, touring various electrical plants and talking to Iraqi officials, reconstruction engineers, soldiers, and diplomats. I left disappointed that we'll never know if a more astute electrical reconstruction plan would have given ordinary Iraqis more comfortable lives and more confidence in their fledgling government. Produced in conjunction with the IEEE, the world's largest group of professional technologists, The Grid is the cornerstone TV series of Circuit Earth, an engineering education project that spans the globe.
And The Grid uses state-of-the-art computer graphics and animation, mobile high-definition cameras, and some of the best investigative engineering brains in the business to put our problems in perspective, offer hope, and a plan you and I can be a part of. If you want to drill deeper, go to our media-rich internet environment where you can get the story behind the story.
The Grid, different, provocative, inspiring, where science makes engineering sense. It's simply the right television at the right time for our planet.